A new initiative is helping bring LGBTQ history into the classroom. The organization, History UnErased, says it's working to make LGBTQ topics part of the mainstream curriculum across the U.S. One school in the Bronx has already adopted the organization's program. Debra Fowler co-founded History UnErased. Her career as an educator began in 1986 when she worked as a Korean linguist for the U.S. Army. At the time, gay people were not allowed to openly serve in the military. That policy led to the end of her military career. CBSN associate video producer Yuti Joshi spoke with Fowler, other educators, and students about the new curriculum.
I joined in 1986, and at that time, on one of the entrance forms, there was a question, are you a homosexual? And I had checked no. And I knew that was a lie, but the top secret security clearance to follow my orders to the DMZ, the border between North and South Korea, the investigation disclosed that I was indeed a homosexual. So I was dishonorably discharged and still felt certainly a lot of shame about that, and embarrassment. But History UnErased, several components of History UnErased mission, which is to help educators bring LGBT inclusive history into their classroom, academic content into their classroom.
I've only really known about it in the internet or seen videos of the pride parades and have friends that are part of that community, but I've never really had it in a school where I could learn about it, study about it.
I visited the Bronx High School for the Visual Arts. I talked with them about the content that History UnErased has developed for New York City Public Schools, which is case studies in LGBT history. And they were thrilled. They were so excited.
We're learning about intersecting identities of Ernestine Eckstein. And the reason why we're learning this is to understand how the concepts of identity impact an individual's activism and our successes. By the time we are done with our group work, we should be able to put a check that what was Ernestine Eckstein's significance to the gay rights movement, and you can also identify the origins of one movement.
I love the opportunity to work with History UnErased because it provided us with curriculum materials that actually give kids opportunities to grapple with primary sources of actual events that occurred that affect this community.
I think it's important to learn about our history because people should learn about where we come from and how we came to be who we are today.
The National Council for the Social Studies, the board of directors unanimously approved of a position statement on LGBT history, contextualizing LGBT history, that was authored by History UnErased.
So when this curriculum came, to me, and it had to do with identity and finding identity and how people really spoke up for what they believed in, it was perfect with this class. This class is sophomores through seniors. It runs 10th through 12th grade. And it was picked, kind of handpicked, because these students were asked last year if they wanted to participate. They got the whole synopsis of the class, and they wanted to do it.
Young kids are experimenting so many things and experiencing different things that adults don't really experience a lot, because they're finding out their sexualities, they're finding out their identities, when adults are just going one straight road.
Some students at home may not have the same comfort level that they have here, and we do know, they have expressed that. So this is the environment that they're able to freely express themselves and feel comfortable.
During the class, even if we disagreed with each other, we still came with each other and we united and we talked about our opinions, we talked about our ideas.
I think here they feel very safe because it's non-biased. There's no judgment here. There's no judgment, and it's all over, just everyone is always welcome here, and you do you. Just be yourself, and we accept everyone.
Your sexuality or orientation does not define who you are. Because I was always afraid of being called names because of how I represent myself and act.
With profound certainty, that if I had had just one lesson in elementary school or middle school or high school, that I would not have lived some of the statistics that we're trying to mitigate right now. And it would have made all the difference. And I think about that with the work of History UnErased. We have many missions, essentially. And one of those is to make sure that every young person can see themselves reflected in the curriculum and know that they belong, that there's a place in the world for them, and that they have the capacity to contribute. It's personal and professional.
Debra Fowler joined my colleague Tanya Rivero on Friday to discuss the process of getting schools to adopt this new curriculum.
It's been quite a process. The curriculum that we offer now reflects over 7 years of research and development with expert historians, archivists, librarians, classroom educators. And so it really comprises a lot of expertise from folks who knew where to look and which, everything is anchored in primary sources. And so this history has always been there. We're just unerasing it and making it visible as part of a more complete and accurate reflection of the unfolding story of America and who we are, individually and collectively. There is a profound awareness everywhere that young people are starving for this content, and educators want to do it, but they need the resources and they need the training. So currently we are in approximately 1,200 schools across the nation. We're in all of New York City's K-12 public schools, and the schools who are integrating our curriculum are in Washington, Wisconsin, Illinois, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and more.
CBSN will mark Pride Month with 4 weeks of coverage. Topics include the politics of Pride, diversity, representation, families, education, and health. You can watch the coverage all month long right here on CBSN.